I think we're live now. Welcome to Set Impact, where we discuss how emerging technology is changing sectors, society, and the world at large. For a brief period, for around about 6 weeks, I'll be speaking to founders solving some of the hardest and most interesting problems over LinkedIn Live. Today, we have Neel. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. The CEO of Zio Health. Neel, could you tell us a little bit more about Zio Health and what you've developed so far?
Yeah, sure. So we've developed basically sensing technology that allows you to sense different parameters in different bodily fluids. So we basically use this technology to develop a range of different products for different applications, basically.
That's interesting. And you have two products, right?
Yeah. So we have basically we have two brands. One's Elosia and one's Elapta. And under Elapta, we're basically using our technology to create handheld devices for different applications. So for example, we're working on a therapeutic drug monitoring device, which is this device here. I think the light's reflecting, but with this one, the patient would sample a drop of blood and put the drop of blood into a cartridge, into this cartridge, and you place the cartridge onto the device itself. And basically, at the moment, it's measuring antibiotic levels. So you measure that antibiotic level and you'd receive a personalized dose based on the therapeutic level, which is best for your individual body. So really, it's a device which we're giving individuals so that they can reduce the risk of toxicity but increase the drug efficacy.
That's amazing. And like, are you guys testing the device out right now?
Yeah, so at the moment it's being tested on blood samples in the US at a medical university. And yeah, we have around 3-4 months left of that. So that's quite exciting for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms, you guys are currently measuring blood right now. With that device, will you be able to test different body fluids, and will the device have multiple?
Basically, we've developed the technology inside this, the casing, really. And that technology is a platform technology which we can use to create, basically, the technology senses different parameters in different fluids. So we have another partnership where we're creating a drugs of abuse testing device, which is for law enforcement and is testing drugs in saliva. So that's one other product. And we also have this device here, which is for breast milk testing in China, for the China market.
Breast milk testing. So like, yeah, could you kind of highlight that problem in China? I mean, I briefly had a look at it just before we went live, but I mean, could you kind of highlight the reason why, you kind of have to develop a product like this in China?
Yeah, so basically it's to give mothers the confidence that their breast milk is good enough for their baby. And in China, China has one of the lowest breastfeeding rates in the world. And one of the main reasoning for that is because of scandals that's basically because of formula milk companies marketing specific benefits of formula milk in China, and how pollution and other aspects affect breast milk. So what we're giving mothers the opportunity to do is test parameters and test basically a range of parameters in breast milk to see that breast milk is good enough for their baby. And so they're confident and there's no toxic elements in the breast milk so that they can give it to their baby.
So does the device test the breast milk or the formula?
Actually, so it tests both. So you can test breast milk as well as formula milk. And in formula milk, we'd be testing contaminants such as melamine, which was used once and killed multiple babies in 2008, I think. So we can test certain elements so that, if you do have to give formula milk to your baby, it's not a fake product that you're giving your baby. It's real, genuine formula milk.
That's really interesting. I mean, given the fact that you said it was a platform technology, what insights eventually, when you do launch the product in the future, what insights can your device give about breast milk itself?
So, it's testing, say, for example, it's testing vitamin D levels or vitamin A levels. Through the software app, it would tell the user that you need to take supplements because your breast milk is not sufficient enough in vitamin A, for example. However, majority of cases, it will be something just to give the mother confidence that their breast milk is good enough, and has all these nutrients. And this is a product that we're launching in the future, but it is still in line with what we want to do as a company, and give individuals to empower individuals basically to take control of their health, and by doing that, basically it's in line with our personalized health and personal home use testing devices goal. And that basically brings me to our second product, which is Elosia. And Elosia is actually testing parameters in urine. And from the results you receive from your urine, you can optimize your nutrition and health from the advice given in the software app. Yeah, so the way this product works is you take a foil pocket thing, and you open it, and you'll take a strip out which looks like this, and basically you pee on the strip, and you dip it. Basically, you pee on the strip, and then you use your phone to take a photo of the strip, and basically your phone, the software app, will give you nutrition and health advice based on your own parameters, your own results. So basically, it's giving you a personalized nutrition plan.
What parameters of health, or what indicators does urine provide us?
So actually, it provides a lot of information. At the moment, we're measuring, hydration, because if you measure hydration and you optimize your hydration, it has a big benefit in terms of energy and performance. And also we're testing vitamin C and the acidity of the urine itself. And for individuals on a ketone diet, they can measure if they're in ketosis. Yeah. So we also measure electrolytes with this test strip as well.
And like, in terms of hypothetically, what types of recommendations, just give an example of some of the recommendations that your software, your app can give based on the urine sample.
Yeah, so I mean, so basically it would give you, if I show you one of these, well, my latest result has been very good. So it doesn't show. So okay, so when it comes to, it would appear like this, and because your hydration levels are quite low, it would tell you basically that your results indicate dehydration, which can affect your physical and mental performance. It goes into a description of why it's not good for you, your results, and then it tells you how much to drink, and over what period during the day to optimize your hydration. the same thing goes with pH, acidity. If you're found to be too acidic because you're eating foods such as high protein foods, such as chicken and some sorts of meat, it will tell you that why your result is showing what it is, and B, what you can do to improve it. So for example, high acidity is just telling you to basically eat more green leafy vegetables, root vegetables, and fruits to help reduce that acidity, basically. Yeah,
that's amazing. What's like the founding story behind this company? Because you guys have multiple products. Could you kind of highlight your story, your co-founder story, and what inspired you to start something like this?
So so basically, I was working as a medical doctor before founding company, and for me it was in hospitals. There are a lot of inefficiencies, and one of the biggest inefficiencies is obviously the wait times for testing blood, testing whatever parameters you need to move on with the treatment. And there was this happens in the hospital, and also in GP practices it's an even longer wait time. So for me it was to build something that we can give at point of care that can rapidly give results, so we can treat the patients rapidly. And Rory, my co-founder, he always had this passion to build basically health tech for different health specific problems. And he's an engineer, and he had actually developed multiple technologies before we met. And so we basically met actually at a healthcare networking event as well. So it wasn't at the event, actually. It was the website of the event. So there was, on that website, there was a hub where people talk about each other. And I just remember he had written that he was building prosthetic limbs. So so then we just messaged each other, and we kind of grew from that. After like 4 months of meeting and doing the research of how to create this technology, point of use technology, we met Shaolin, my third co-founder, and he is a scientist and had been working on, at the time, a technology that could sense different parameters in different body fluids. So basically, an engineer and a scientist working together created this the technology that we have today.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you guys have multiple products. I mean, does that just stem from the fact that all of you guys have just different interests and you're just trying to bunch something in together?
No, not necessarily. I think for Elosia, we're all really aligned. I think I think more and more people are becoming more aware of nutrition and basically positive lifestyle changes, right? So it was a great product for us to develop. Regarding the technology that we've developed to sense different parameters, that is actually, so we went out to build a device which could test blood quickly, rapidly for hospital use. However, over the years we realized the technology we built actually can do much more. So much more. And then we were like, well, we can't do everything ourselves right now as a startup, right? So why not partner with companies and give them the opportunity to create products for different applications? So while we're doing what we want to do, we're also giving the opportunity to maximize the impact of using our technology, really.
It's really interesting when you said, you worked as a medical doctor, and one of the inefficiencies was around testing. I mean, hypothetically speaking, I mean, a really interesting use case, I mean, which you've probably come across and you're probably trying to map towards, would be like having someone um, being being able to provide patients with the ability to stay at home with your device, because they can test themselves, and they can test themselves on an hour by hour basis, as opposed to being in a hospital taking up extra resources, extra beds. I mean, is that the kind of the premise around the device, and in terms of your antibiotics use case?
Yeah, exactly. Many of the times, even with these remote calls that GPs are currently having, and obviously more right now due to current situation, a lot of times they still have to send blood samples or still have to see certain parameters in blood to give that accurate treatment plan. And so, if individuals did have this at home, they could test themselves instantly and give the doctor those results, even if it was just to monitor your treatment. So say you were given antibiotics, this specific device you could take home and you could measure how you're doing yourself in terms of the markers that show improvement for your specific disease or specific infection that you may have. You can see that improvement, but at the same time, you can monitor those antibiotic levels, which are within basically the therapeutic range for your body, and basically reduce the time that you're being treated, as well as reduce the amount of resources being used for your care.
That's really interesting. I mean, and in terms of your platform technology, there are different parameters and different bodily fluids you guys can assess. I mean, what goes into kind of developing a technology for one use case and then was it a strategic decision to make it was it a strategic decision to make the technology somewhat agnostic, so you could have multiple use cases, or did you guys just accidentally stumble upon a chip that enabled multiple use cases? I mean, how did that work? Because a lot of startups, they go after one use case, and then they're trying to maximize on that, generate revenue, and then use that revenue to create something else. But you guys have done something quite unique. You've kind of tailored your product to one use case, but it has multiple use cases. I mean, was that a strategic decision at the beginning?
No, definitely not at the beginning. At the beginning, we wanted to literally bring testing technology out of the hospital, closer to the patient, to test blood and reduce resources and burden on healthcare systems, but also just give a better experience for the patient. However, over our R&D, we basically realized that this technology does do other fluids and can test other parameters in those fluids. So that's why we went out looking for partnerships where individuals were looking to develop their own products. And that's basically what we ended up doing. The one key thing is that there are certain products we're developing fully in-house. However, the other products we give the third parties to create them, to develop them themselves. However, we just advise them on how to do it.
Okay. So implementing their own specific use case.
Yeah, exactly. And that for a startup, it is important as well. We can't do everything. We don't have the resources to do everything. So it's great to form these partnerships, because you're to create a product, but also you're getting that for us, the third party accreditation for the validation for the technology is key as well. So we're getting this third party validation as well.
I mean, I'm going to mention the C word, the COVID. How has that disrupted or affected how you guys work? since March. I mean, how has COVID affected you guys, and how have you guys had to navigate and adapt?
So, we have offices in Shenzhen and London mainly, and basically when it first started in Shenzhen, we people went remote, right? Shenzhen closed within a week of them announcing in Wuhan. So, um, people went remote and people flew home, and then we kind of used the same concept for when it happened in London. But then when it happened in London, China reopened. So we benefited in that sense because China was open and London was closed. However, I think remote working has been great for us. I think we've received feedback from the team in terms of flexibility and in everyone's. I think we made every milestone since that we've had, and people are just working more flexibly. So I think it helps in that aspect. But when it comes to brainstorming, I think sometimes being in person is much more efficient, really. I can say that for us specifically, we had trials going on in hospitals, which obviously stopped throughout this period. So now they've been restarted, which is great, but obviously delayed by 3-4 months. So I mean, for us as a company, obviously that slowed down a bit.
Yeah, and you've been at this for the last 5 years. I've met companies that have been trying to solve the same problem that you try to solve, and then had to pivot because they realized they had to create a diagnostics device. I mean, what have been some of the lessons that you've learned? I mean, you guys are launching in multiple markets right now. You probably have multiple regulatory burdens. You're developing a diagnostics device that requires clinical trials and clinical validation. I mean, what have been some of the lessons and some of the humbling lessons that you've had to kind of learn, and that you've learned over the last 5 years?
I think one of the key ones is being open to collaborations and being open to basically the thing is bringing in those investors who have a lot of resources, so to minimize the resources on us and the amount of funds we're spending, because 5 years is a long time. 5 years is a long time to tell investors that that we're spending their funds on something that has taken 5 years, basically. So I mean, it's I don't really have anything else to say apart from that. But I think it is key to know that forming those collaborations and bringing on good strategic investors is really important for a deep tech company, which requires that third-party validation as well as a lot of funding to develop these products or this technology itself.
Yeah, I mean, what are like some of the regulatory burdens you guys have to go through? Because you guys are launching and are in multiple markets. You're doing a clinical trial, or you're doing some sort of trial in America. You're based in the UK. You've got a base in China. I mean, how are you guys? What are some of the regulatory barriers that you kind of face? I mean, without going too deep into it, kind of highlight, give us a brief overview of some of the regulatory burdens that you kind of have in multiple markets.
So generally, our health and wellness products are basically set for market already. However, we do have differences in different markets. So, for example, the breast milk device that for China does not require a specific amount of regulatory approval, whereas, for example, in the US it does. So, I mean, the benefit we have from that is using data from one country and submitting it in a different country, and we learn basically from that. The downside is we can't just grow rapidly through multiple countries because every single country has its own process.
We've got a question from Selena Danak. Will you be required? I can't pronounce the name of your first product. Sorry, Eloisa. Will Eloisa require regulatory approval in the UK?
Elosia, because it's defined as health and wellness, it does not require regulatory approval for the initial test that we're launching. However, we are adding more tests, and those will be completing regulatory approval by Q4 next year. And those so those are more medical related. That's where they have to go through CE marking.
That's interesting. I mean, tell us if you want. I mean, what other parameters are you going to be adding to your product suite with Elosia?
So basically, we're basically adding tests that can give the user a more personalized view of their body, and so they can optimize their nutrition even more. And we're basically adding to the Elosia itself, we're adding screening tests so that individuals can screen early signs of disease, so that they can grab that negative result as soon as possible, so that they can reverse it or stop it from getting worse, right? So that's the key thing. So, for example, the simplest test that we're releasing is measuring kidney function.
Really? Wow.
So
what bodily fluids would you have to test to assess that?
So I'm speaking specifically for urine at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
And so and there's a range of them that we can add to do the same sort of concept. At the same time, through Elosia itself as a product, we are adding quite exciting features over the next 12 to 18 months. And so again, just giving the user a more personalized look at their body.
Amazing. And I mean, what's on the horizon now as we as we approach the end of the interview? I mean, what's on the horizon for you guys over the next, say, 24 months, assuming you get the funding, the resources, and the talent you need? I mean, in an uber optimistic world, what do you think you guys will be able to create from a product standpoint and also from a company standpoint over the next, say, 24 months?
So, well, most immediately we are launching Elosia, so that's exciting. We're launching Elosia this year, and we're also crowdfunding for a certain amount of our round from next week, actually. And then in the next 24 months, exactly what I said over the conversation is basically we want to add these exciting features that we have for Elosia over the next 12 to 18 months, as well as increasing the test range, which is not just urine. We want to, in 24 months, we do want to have achieved, blood testing and other parameters through blood, and adding that to Elosia. At the same time, in 2022, we would be looking to launch our therapeutic drug monitoring device into the market.
Amazing. And any shout out before you guys go, before we end the interview? I mean, are you guys hiring right now?
We will be hiring in November. But right now, I would say that the most exciting thing is our crowdfunding campaign. And if individuals want to invest in us, they can for as little as £11 and join us on this journey.
What crowdfunding website are you guys going to be on next week?
We will be on Crowdcube, but you can also register through our website, Desire Health website, to get early access to that, because we are keeping it open for pre-registered individuals first.
Amazing. Really appreciate you jumping on this this morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.